welcome to the Simsbury View. I'm Althea Greaney. Now that the long, cold winter is finally over, we can all turn our attention to the wealth of outdoor activities we have here in Simsbury. Today we are going to focus on bicycling because, for the third straight year, Simsbury is joining the nation in celebrating May as Bike Month. Our focus today is children, bicycles, and the issue of bike safety. Joining us are Debbie Thibodeau, a member of the Simsbury Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee and chair of the Latimer Lane Safe Routes to Schools Committee. Amy Muska, a member of the Simsbury Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee and K-12 Physical Education and Health Supervisor for Simsbury Public Schools. And Abbe Reese, a physical education teacher at Tooten Hills Elementary School, about Simsbury's May is Bike Month program. Hi Debbie, Amy, Abbe. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Debbie, way over there. What is the Simsbury Bicycle Pedestrian Committee and why was it created?
The committee is a volunteer group,
Okay.
and it is comprised of stakeholders with interest in biking in Simsbury from all different areas.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some members of the town staff. We have Public Works, we have Parks and Rec. Mary Glassman's been involved. We
Okay.
have advocacy people. We have Simsbury Free Bike, members from, founders from Simsbury Free Bike, which is basically our advocacy group for the town.
Mm-hmm.
And I represent Safe Routes to School, which is a program through the schools. We have Simsbury Public Schools there. So it's really a group of people who all have an interest in trying to promote biking and creating a bike network in Simsbury.
Okay, so why did you include the pedestrian part? I mean, it's because pedestrians and bicyclists use the same routes, is that why?
Actually, a lot of the trails are used by both. So if you think about our rail trail that goes right through town, we have a lot of cyclists use it, but we do have a lot of pedestrians.
Yeah.
And then there are mountain biking trails, which are also used by pedestrians. Just looking at these types of groups in other municipalities as well, they're oftentimes bike and pedestrian because there's so many overlapping interests.
Okay, great, thank you. So what is Bike Month? I know it's the month of May, but what does it mean and what does that entail for organizations like your own?
Okay. Bike Month was actually started in 1956. It is a day that's sponsored by the American League, or the League of American Bicyclists.
Okay.
And it's a month to recognize and celebrate all the reasons people bike.
Mm-hmm.
So people who bike for fitness, bike for transportation.
Yep.
It's a time to promote biking and try and encourage people to get out there and bike,
Mm-hmm.
maybe people that haven't done it in a while. And it's also a time to promote safety. So especially in this part of the country, people haven't really been doing a lot of biking. May is really the beginning of the bike season, so we bring some attention to it so we can raise awareness that there will be more bikes out on the roads.
Okay, great. And you touched on a little bit the bike safety, and we have two members of the Simsbury educational system here, and bike safety means somebody has to be teaching children, adults, teenagers about bike safety, and I understand that you've taken some of that upon yourselves. What's Simsbury Public Schools' role in this?
Well, we have piloted and developed a grade 4 bike safety education curriculum. Mm-hmm. It really started 2 years ago. Patty Tacoba Smith approached the schools. They were applying for a grant, and there's 5 E's, and one of these is education. Mm-hmm. So to be able to get a bronze level, correct me if
That's
right,
correct.
they needed education to be involved. So some conversations were initiated. Mm-hmm. Abby was one elementary PE teacher, and another person, Tracy Cassane, stepped up and said, wow, this is really great. So they went to the first training, and we started to discuss, what does this look like? How can we do it? What's feasible? Mm-hmm. After they went to the bike safety in the spring, I sent the rest of the staff to be trained. And we said, wow, we really like this. Grade 4 makes sense. South Windsor actually is the first town in the state of Connecticut to launch it. We're the second town, and so we really started to discuss it last spring. Through work, we piloted Latimer Lane and Tooten Hills were the first schools to pilot bike education. Very successful. We learned a lot. It was exciting. Kids were excited. Parents were excited. And through that, it also led to our collaboration with Simsbury Free Bike. This has really been a collaborative effort. Without their help, from helping us to get bikes, providing us support wherever we need it, I don't think we would be as successful. And the school system has been very successful. We have 5 elementary schools. We cannot deliver it all in one year. So we do have an A and a B year. This year, Terrafil went in the fall. Central will do bike safety education right after April break, and Squadron Line, because it's a large school, will do the whole month of May. We currently are renting bikes from Bike Walk. They will deliver a trailer of 27 bikes. In the meantime, we have started to collect our own bikes. Our goal is to get 30 bikes. We're looking for 20-inch bikes to be donated. We then work with Simsbury Free Bike. They've been helping us to refurbish those bikes and get a maintenance so that we can launch and keep this program going. We believe in it. It's a perfect fit in our elementary PE curriculum. When you look at the future, making healthy and active individuals, the town of Simsbury is a great biking community. And so we're very happy to work with them and to really support this initiative. It's a good school community collaboration. Abbe actually can speak a little bit more regarding the actual lessons and what we try to do, because it's not teaching kids to ride bikes, but it's about teaching them how to be safe when riding bikes.
Okay, great. Abbe.
Hi. Yeah, it's become more than just teaching children how to ride bikes. Although we do have some that come in and that has been a concern, which we address by them keeping their feet on the ground and making sure they're staying safe. Because really the program is to address things further than that. And that is proper helmet fit, which is really important. Teaching them how to check their bike, check the tires, the ABCs, the air, the brakes, making sure that they're safe to be on the road. So that in the event that they're out and something happened, they can fix it. Then we really go into proper signaling, so that since you address that, the pedestrians, there's cars on the road, proper signaling is really important, even on our trails when they're not on the road. And we do a lot with them learning to ride in a straight line, so they can ride along the roads as we have the new areas on the through the center of town, so that they can stay straight line riding and be able to look and see where they're going. And then they learn some other little things like dodging rocks and those kinds of skills that might be important on a trail or a road. So we do those kinds of things with them so that they are safely riding through the street, that we don't have to worry about them interacting with cars negatively, obviously. And that everyone that's riding together can understand what's going on. They have ways to signal so they can communicate while they're riding.
Great.
I was just going to say, while during the actual class time, students stay on the grounds, but we have offered a couple opportunities at Latimer Lane. During the time that they had the bikes last year, they actually took a group of kids and went on the bike trail and went to Peach Waves. And Terrafil did the same thing. They carted the bikes down. They went down to the base by Terrafil and got on the bikes. And that was with staff and administration, and they rode to Peach Waves too, and then came back. So we have looked for ways, maybe from an intramurals perspective, and then in our Free Bike, people came along to help support and be a chaperone.
Wonderful.
It was actually pretty an amazing thing. If anyone in town had seen, it was probably close to 60 people riding all together from the high school down to the center of town, which was a really cool thing to see. And so that was, grade 9, 10, 11 wellness program this summer. So it was a pretty amazing event, actually. So.
And one of the neat things that I think of is that if we train our kids to bike safely now, those are skills that they're going to share with their parents, share with their families, their friends, and take with them as they get older and into their adulthood. So just the basic fact of you're supposed to ride on the right-hand side of the road is a detail that some adults are not familiar with.
Unfortunately, or to stay out of the middle of the road. The yellow line's not your lane.
One of the reasons that we targeted 4th grade was that seems to be the time when a lot of kids start riding to school without their parents and on their own. And by targeting that age, they're leaving their homes with their friends in the morning, and
Right.
to make sure that in the morning and the afternoon, they understand these basics was really the important part of targeting fourth grade in our school.
Right. Just a quick question, because I know that it's a rotational thing because you don't have the bikes to go to each school every year. So there's going to be a fourth grade class that's going to be missing this. Is there maybe not a hands-on type thing that you could just like go through the curriculum without the bikes, just to kind of get them familiar with the safety rules?
There are some things, because based on when we have rented the trailer, we have issues like rain and space and all those kinds of things that have been an issue. So, for example, last year that happened to me and I hadn't gotten to signaling. So I used scooters.
Yep.
Because they're still learning the same kind of concept, and the signaling is what's important no matter what they're on.
Right.
We also have tried some other grades, sort of trying to play around with what grades would work. I did try some third grade last year, which, can be tough based on the size of the bikes that we had.
Right.
I know
Brandon did grade 4 and grade 5.
yeah, so, trying to target some other grades and see what it's like. I think that at Central, she might try 6th grade this year also, just to see what grades are really going to be the ones that are going to be the most receptive to the curriculum that we have.
Yep.
4th grade was a good target year, so we're kind of playing with on the other end so that everybody can leave elementary school with the same information.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's
Yep.
just we really need to have everybody aware of what the rules are and how to stay safe and use a bike properly. And quite honestly, it translates into driving well as a motorist also, because the same skills you learn riding a bike, you can translate it right over into being a safe motorist also. So it's a great skill to have, and I'm really glad that Simsbury schools are addressing this issue. I guess this goes back to Debbie. Is there a family focus for Bike Safety Month or Bike Month here in Simsbury?
Well, Bike Month is going to have a lot of different activities, and so we have basically a calendar of May with lots of different events on it of all different types.
Okay.
And thinking about the schools, we actually have 3 Bike to School days, one at Latimer, one at Tooten, and one at Squadron Line. And those are very big events, and they're school-wide, so actually some of the children that aren't getting bike safety on the bikes will get some of that information, and we do some rides into school with parents as chaperones, and we ask those parents to go through rules with the children and to model safe biking.
Okay.
So there are the ways that we try and bring that information. We also have some other bike safety classes that are scheduled for the month. And we're really excited to have Parks and, actually it's not the month. Parks and Rec is offering its first bike safety class, and it's on June 1st. We couldn't squeeze it into May, but I'm still lumping it in with Bike Month because that certainly was the reason for having it.
Yep.
And that's a class, it's going to be a 4-hour class. So it's for ages 15 and up, and it's for people who, they can ride a bike, but maybe they're looking for some skills to be a little bit more comfortable on the road, looking for some skills to help them prevent crashes or getting hit by a car, for example. So there will be some discussion about traffic. There'll be some parking lot drills. There will not be a road ride with that particular class, but we're hoping there'll be a follow-up class as well that will have a ride component. So.
Great. Okay. Well, I have here that the first Simsbury Triathlon is coming up, and that's also in May, which just happened to coincide with Bike Month, and it involves biking and running and hiking and the little water thing, but we'll ignore that. But so some of the other bike events that are being planned for the month of May. You've got the event in June.
Right.
So what else is
we
going on?
have the 3 Bike to Schools. We have Bike to Work Day, which is Friday the 16th.
Okay.
And we actually had a Bike to Work Day last year. We'll be doing the same, having a little tent set up over by the Performing Arts Center right along the rail trail. And if people are riding by on their way to work, they can stop by. We'll have some safety materials, I think the police will be there. Probably have some donuts and coffee or bagels and coffee. This year we're also going to have a happy hour at Redstone Pub for those people who will then have to bike home, and they can stop in, and actually we're encouraging anyone who has any interest in cycling to come on by, even if they didn't actually bike home from work. So that's one of the fun events that we're excited about. That's new this year. We also have the Bike Seller is having rides on Thursday evenings throughout the month.
Okay.
We are trying to get together a selectmen's ride like we had last year. The date is still up in the air,
Okay.
but when the calendar is posted, all those dates will be filled in. We have a bike maintenance class at Simsbury Library.
Okay.
So people who want to learn about the ABC check to learn how to check their bike for safety, how to change a flat, those types of things. That's going on the 20th. And we have actually the Historical Society is in on the action this year as well, and they are having an exhibit called Pedal Power, and they are going to be showing antique bikes, which is
Wow.
kind of exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. Do we have a date for that yet?
I think it starts on May 1st. I'm not sure how long the exhibit will run, but
All right, that'll be nice. We'll have to stop by. As bike-friendly as Simsbury is, sometimes motorists get a little irritated with the bicyclists because they take up too much road and they ride abreast rather than single file, which is a safety feature that I was taught back in the day. So how is bike courtesy being addressed as part of bike safety? Is it?
certainly in all the classes. We
Yeah.
teach people that, basically a bike is a vehicle and it has to follow the same rules of the road that a vehicle does. So if you see cyclists, running red lights and not stopping at stop signs, they are technically breaking the law, and they should be stopping. They should be following the rules of the road. So we definitely sense that there, is some concern about that from motorists, and really the cyclists need to do their part and follow those rules to promote safety for everyone, and really to promote that common courtesy.
Right. Yeah. It's, I try and be even before they had the rule about 3 feet from I was like, I'm not getting anywhere near them. I'm going to give them as much room as possible because it's hard riding a bicycle on some of these roads. You've got the storm drains, you've got the rocks, the pebbles, and it's just potholes. This time of year, it's a little.
And I think motorists need to realize that, the bikes do have a right to be on the road, and that means that they don't have to be riding right there, on the absolute edge of the shoulder, because that is actually not a safe place to ride because of all the debris and the storm grates and such. So, cyclists will edge to the left to be in a safer place to ride.
Yeah, and that's okay. It's just when you can, just allow the cars to get by too, because sometimes we're running a little late for appointments. So, some tips for safe cycling. We've done the stay to the right. Has anybody ever addressed, riding with earphones on? Because I don't even walk with headphones on because I need to be able to hear what's coming at me. Is that anything that's been
I don't know if you talked to the kids about that, but we definitely do not recommend using headphones. And, that's even true for walking on the rail trail. Here in Simsbury, the rail trail is so busy that, the pedestrians are walking, they should be walking on the right-hand side. If they have children or dog, they should be contained there on the right-hand side, but they should be able to hear, because cyclists who will, moving faster, we do request that cyclists alert when passing, so they're going to pass on the left. They should ding a bell or shout loudly enough for pedestrians to hear, but if they have music on or they're talking on their cell phone and they have earbuds in, they're not going to hear. So it really is not a safe situation for the pedestrian as well as the cyclist.
Right. enjoy nature when you're out in nature, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, so the advice for the pedestrians then is basically the same as for the bicyclists. Stay as far to the right as you can, except for when passing, and pass on the left. And be aware of your surroundings type of situation.
And contain your dogs. It is if a dog is on a long leash and cyclists are going by, it can be quite dangerous for the dog as well as the cyclist.
Yes, quite honestly, everybody. Yeah, I know. Tips for motorists on the roads now that cycling season's starting. Any advice other than the usual, keep your eyes open and maybe slow down a little, right?
Certainly when there's cyclists on the road in front of you, you do need to give them 3 feet to pass, and that means you may need to wait until oncoming traffic is not, it's open and available space when you're passing. So that does mean there are situations where you're going to have to slow down.
And also be well aware when you come up to a curve and a bicycle is ahead of you, it's not wise nor is it encouraged that you pass someone on a curve.
Right.
That you allow them to go around and then you pass that person.
Right.
And I think that even making kids aware, and even through driver's ed, is being aware of bicycles on the road and some of the bike safety rules with them too.
Right, yeah. In Simsbury here, we have some very, very twisty, windy roads. And I know it's a little disconcerting as you come around a corner and there's a bicyclist right on that corner that you didn't see, So I'm always very aware as I'm approaching corners. I'm like constantly looking and slowing down because you don't know. And if there's a bicyclist coming around on the opposite side from you, the guy approaching you may have decided he's going to pass. And
there are other situations actually that motorists can be aware of too, and that is if you are passing a cyclist to your right and making a right-hand turn, you need to be aware that that cyclist might in fact run into you as you're making your right-hand turn.
Right.
So you need to wait for that cyclist to go by, and that's actually one of the more common accidents that occurs with motorists and cyclists. And the other one is opening car doors. We don't have much parallel parking, but we do here on Hot Meadow Street, and if you pop out of your car and open that door right up and a cyclist is coming by, they can be clipped by that door, and that's also a dangerous situation.
Right.
So cyclists are advised to ride out of that door range, but also for people to kind of look over their shoulder and make sure there's nobody coming.
Right, yeah. It's again, it comes down to being aware of your surroundings and constantly checking. Because some of these bicyclists can ride pretty darn fast.
Yes.
So where can people go to find out more information about the events and where and when they're happening? Is there a place where they can go to find this information?
The Bike Pedestrian Advisory Committee has a new website. It's currently in development, but hopefully by the time this airs, it will be up and running.
Okay.
And that is Simsbury at www.simsbury.bike.
Okay.
And on there we will have the Bike Month calendar. And we're also going to have lots of other interesting information like safety tips. There's lots of safety videos that are available online, and we have links to connect people with them. And safety materials, we'll have links for finding routes, and we'll have some common rides in the area, and information about the education program, information about Simsbury Free Bike. And I'm sure they'll have their locations. They'll be opening their bike share program on May 1st. Okay. So there are 5 locations where people can pick up bikes. In addition to that website, Simsbury Free Bike has a Facebook page, and that's another great resource.
Okay, great.
For finding more about what's going on.
Okay. So what are your next steps? We've got a couple minutes left. What do you need to ensure that this bike month of May is a successful and successful celebration of Bike Month?
Not much rain. That would help.
Right. Well, I was thinking maybe not snow, but okay.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have snow. Just just for people to get out there, give it a try. If they don't have a bike, they can borrow a bike with Simsbury Free Bike, to be safe and aware motorists and as well as cyclists.
Okay. Well, I know, Amy, you wanted 20-inch bikes. If
Yes.
people have
Bikes
that
laying
their kids-
around looking to cleaning out garages, we would take them. They can be dropped off at Simsbury Free Bike. I know Squadron Line is putting something in their newsletter to make that aware, and through the PTO. So we definitely, if anybody has bikes and they're curious what to do, they're more than welcome just to email me through my Simsbury School account, Amy Muska at simsbury.k12.ct.us, and we would love to take bikes off their hands. But yes, we're looking at 20-inch bikes to help our program. We're trying to create our fleet of 30.
Okay, great. Well, I was wondering, if you're wanting to look at doing this at a younger age, maybe some of the smaller bikes too, and for the smaller kids.
Well, that's what's key when we're talking about safety too, because if people aren't properly fitted on their bike, it becomes unsafe for them. They're not as sturdy, they're wobbly. You can't even check the bike to get in the right position. So in order to address it at a younger age, we do need smaller bikes, because that's one of the issues we ran into.
Okay.
So plug for more bikes would be awesome.
Awesome. Okay, well, that's what we did. So there you have it, folks. I'd like to thank you, Debbie Thibodeau, Amy Muska, and Abbe Reese, for joining us on the Simsbury View to tell us about the May is Bike Month events and giving us tips on bike, motorist, and pedestrian safety. I'd also like to thank our volunteer camera operators, Sammy Dowd and Nick Sinakori. Our director, our director is actually Karen Hanville, and the staff of Simsbury Community Television for helping make the Simsbury View possible. I'm Althea Greaney. Let's all stay safe and enjoy a wonderful summer. Thank you for watching and supporting your local community television. If you missed any part of this program, you can see it online at simsburytv.org.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.